It's a historic day. A king has been dethroned and a new one has taken his place. That's right, everybody. The king of egos in adult animation, Seth MacFarlane, is no longer the holder of the crown. For Nick Kroll, the fair Nick Kroll, has taken his spot. Seth MacFarlane, of course, was known for having his ego be so big that he would use Brian the dog in Family Guy as a political mouthpiece, and as also a mouthpiece, literally, to sing his lounge music. No more will he hold the crown for being egotistical and delusional. Now Nick Kroll will, for his bizarre self-insert in the 5th season of Big Mouth, where he actually green screened himself into a scene so that people would know who he was. I haven't seen anything this embarrassing in terms of self-inserts since the days of Chris Chan. I cannot believe this is a real thing that happened and that it's on Netflix. Now, before I get any deeper into this, I should say I have no hatred whatsoever for Nick Kroll or even Seth MacFarlane. In fact, I think Nick Kroll is incredibly talented. He has been in a lot of stuff that I've loved, and he's made me laugh a whole lot, even at certain points in Big Mouth, and hell, he even got a giggle out of me in this sequence where he green screens himself in with a good old-fashioned Big Mouth penis joke. However, when you're creating something and putting it out there, it's open to criticism and just passive observation, which honestly, watching Big Mouth now is like watching a cautionary tale about what not to do when making a TV series. And one of the key things you want to avoid that Big Mouth does is abandoning the premise of your show for self-indulgent, egotistical, embarrassing moments where you talk to a cartoon version of yourself. I'm honestly surprised I haven't seen anyone talk about this yet, so I'll break it down if you haven't seen the episode. Nick Kroll's character, Nick, is going to the monster human resources place. He's going to see the CEO of the hormone monsters, or of the world. Who the hell knows? The show's nonsense. He's going to see him. He's going to see God, basically. And God in the Big Mouth world is Nick Kroll. So Nick Birch, Nick Kroll's character, begins talking with Nick Kroll. And then Nick Kroll and Nick go back and forth in the most self-indulgent, heavy-handed conversation to resolve this season of the show I think I've ever seen. Nick Kroll's like complimenting himself, talking about how he's writing it with Nick from the show, who's also him. I think it's supposed to be funny and maybe even insightful, but it does not come across as that. What it comes across as is Nick Kroll doesn't feel like he's getting enough attention, and that he doesn't feel like people know he's the one behind the scenes doing all this. So he inserted himself into the story to make it clear and obvious that he is God and he is in control of Big Mouth. There's 2 other creators for Big Mouth, mind you. It's not just a Nick Kroll joint. 2 other creators are listed on IMDb. He got help from other people, and yet they're not in this sequence. He brings up the other writers, but they're nowhere to be seen. If you want to see the God of Big Mouth, you're seeing him. There's nothing more egotistical than this. And if it does come, if something more egotistical comes, hopefully it'll be in Big Mouth Season 6. I'm honestly kind of looking forward to it now, because I don't know how you get more embarrassing than this. I really don't. This is incredible. It really is incredible that someone who is on Netflix, that has done amazing things in the past, really funny things, would do this.
I don't know, it's a pure ego thing.
And again, I should say, Big Mouth is no stranger to self-inserted characters. The character of Nick, who Nick Kroll is talking to in Big Mouth, is a self-insertion of himself. He's just trying to get as much of him into the show as physically possible, which would be fine if you were still focused on the premise of the show. But it has shifted drastically from a show about going through changes and the trials and tribulations of puberty to a show just about Nick Kroll and how Nick Kroll rocked as a kid, which is a line Nick Kroll says to, again, younger version of Nick Kroll. It's a future version of Nick Kroll. This has happened before, but without the green screen is what I'm trying to say.
Your TV personality, Nick Starr, of course.
Whoa.
And you have your own show on Netflix. It's a cartoon about how you rocked as a kid.
I'd go into it deeper, but there really isn't anything more to say. I could point out all the different moments where he's done it with the future version of Nick, with this younger version of Nick, when he's used the show as a whole just as a mouthpiece for his political beliefs and doesn't put any effort into his social or political commentary or even his jokes anymore. But I think this one sequence, what you're seeing in front of you right now, Nick Kroll, real life, talking to young Nick Kroll, sums up what happened with this show and why so many people hate it. Its redeemable qualities, like its fun musical numbers and its premise, are completely thrown out the window for what Nick Kroll wants. And you know what Nick Kroll wants? A whole bunch more Nick Kroll. So congratulations, Nick Kroll. Maybe you'll be dethroned someday. Maybe Seth MacFarlane will one-up you and green screen himself into an episode. Who knows? I was just embarrassed by this. I've wanted to make a video on it for a long time, just never got around to it. But now that we're doing videos once a week, I thought it was the perfect time to get my thoughts out on this. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Of course, I'm being incredibly dramatic, for the effect of the video, because at the end of the day, Big Mouth isn't going to start or end World War III. It's a cartoon. It's not that big of a deal if someone's being egotistical and delusional in it, but it's still fascinating if you're into adult animation. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. And keep in mind, I read every single comment on this channel, so don't be shy. Yours won't be overlooked, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.
It's a pure ego thing.